we competed every week with those girls, and we always made the final series. So for me to be able to start that team and create an opportunity for girls to actually play rugby league, and since then, again, changes in rugby league. So we had the first ever team in Newcastle, and now we have up to 14 women's teams. We have a 13s, 15s and 17s competition with over 8 teams in each competition. I currently coach at Hunter Sports High, where I get to run year 7 to year 12, and they're our future generation. So lots of changes in footy, and just that switch between rugby union was already established in Newcastle, so to give girls an opportunity to play pretty much was the main reason behind that shift to rugby league.
I've always played heaps of backyard footy with my boy cousins, and this is what got me into it. When you were a kid, did you play backyard footy with family, and what pushed you to be so passionate about it?
Yeah, of course. Competition with your cousins, your close cousins, has always been something that sort of pushes you to play. And I was fortunate enough to live across the road from a park and my little infant school. So from an early age, we would get home from school, over to the park, play our footy until it got dark, and then you'd head back home for dinner. But yeah, I guess for me, that's how you start to establish your skills. So a lot of people think that when you're playing elite level footy, that's where you get your skills. But you actually get them from grassroots. You get them from playing with your cousins and playing with your family and friends in the backyard. So for passionate, like passion comes from yourself and what drives you. And for me, especially in elite level footy, like you always have to have your why. So we always think about what drives you to get up and train, what's your why to play football. So I love footy, and I want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to play footy. And for me, my whys is my family and my friends and all those people who supported me. So I've been playing footy for elite level footy for over 20 years, rugby union and rugby league. And my whys are about giving back to those people who supported me along the way. And yeah, that's where the passion comes from.
I wanted to start playing competition rugby when I was 7 years old, but one parent wouldn't let me play until I was old enough to play in an all-girls team and not with boys. What things got in the way of you playing?
When I was younger, my focus was little athletics, so I had a big focus on sprinting and running. Yeah. So I guess you learn your core skills from there as well. And then I moved to netball, and I had an opportunity to play netball. And I think when you're younger, you do move to those female-dominated sports or girl-dominated sports when you're younger. And what got in the way, I guess, for me growing up was that there were no competitions available. And I would hope to see that is the main thing that's changed, that there's competitions for you young girls to play. I guess parent support, like my parents have always supported me throughout my journey. And it's hard when you sort of got that mix between one parent and one parent no. But I guess growing up knowing that no matter if you learn the basics and with footy, tackle technique and safety around it, that's definitely one thing that you can talk to your parents about, and then progress from there. So there are girl competitions available now, especially for people your own age. So that's a great thing, and you can go out there and test your skills out.
Yeah, I started athletics really young, and then I only stopped doing it at the end of this season.
Okay.
And then I was been doing netball for a bit over nearly 2 years.
Yeah, awesome.
And then felt footy this year when they made a girls team.
Yeah, excellent, really good.
Personally, I found it hard to step into a boys' sport because the boys were sometimes watching, and I worried I wouldn't be as good as them. Would you have a message to inspire and motivate young Indigenous girls to play footy?
Yeah, this is a really good question, Paige. And I think that the two main messages that I would sort of want to get out there is comfort zone. You need to push yourself out of your comfort zone. So we can live in a little bubble. We can live in our bubble and not sort of push ourselves to be what we want to be. But if you love footy that much and you want to play footy, then you go for it. So you don't want to have regrets in your life where you sit back and sort of say, oh, what if I could have done that? It's more about stepping outside of that comfort zone. So no matter what, whether it's a boys team or a girls team, we're going to make errors in life. You have to learn from those errors, and the next thing that sort of flows into is resilience. So you need to be resilient. You need to pick yourself up, dust yourself off if something happens, learn how to reset and go again. Okay, so for me throughout my footy, I've had ups and downs. I've been able to sort of show resilience. And as an Indigenous person, like our whole culture is based on resilience. And you know, in the past, what has happened to us as people, and the ability to showcase how strong we are now. The same thing can cross over to footy. So if you make an error, if something happens, or if you're in a male-dominated or boys-dominated sport, it's not about what you've done; it's how you react to that. So it's about what your reaction is after that. It's the next step that you take. So for me, it's just pushing yourself. Get out there, have a go, and be confident in yourself. As a young girl, as young women, be confident in who you are, and you know, usually we're better than the boys anyways. So.
Fair go.
Thanks heaps for coming in today, Beck. It's been inspiring to hear your story and get to meet you.
No worries. Thank you so much, Paige.
Thanks, Paige, and thanks, Rebecca. Now we're going to play a song called From Little Things, Big Things Grow.
Done. Good work. Well done. Thank
Very
you for
good
coming
interview.
in. So good. No worries.
Very good interview, Rebecca.
I think
Very
you've done
good.
this before.
Couple
Yeah.
times. Not this. This is the first. Really good. Great questions.
Now you handled it very well.
What do you want to do?
Well, excellent.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah.
Because it was rough, sorry.
Tyler, you want to come and change your things? Which one?
Now, can we have a slight change?
Okay. Which one is, because Tyler's next, which one's Tyler's interview, because there's two here.
So it's the anti-hungry one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Warren, do we need to play the news straight away or? No, it's all good.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, awesome. Because we've got lots of time to go.
What about weather?
From that conversation, it was really nice to have. Would you like to tell us, did you ask a question, Kat, about what it was like captaining the Stars? Let's answer that. What was it like captaining the All Stars? And then what was it like going overseas? Can you ask those two questions?
Oh, no, because I
Beck, she's going to ask you two questions. What was it like captaining the All Stars? And what was it like going to overseas? Overseas, just a number of them. Yeah?
Well done.
His news first, isn't it?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'll catch you up with all that later.
Because we're running ahead of schedule, so.
Are you? I'll throw in a couple of songs.
Most of the time,
There's plenty of
I was
songs.
seven
Yeah,
hours
exactly. Plenty of songs.
Yeah, so we're just good conversation, a bit more. Uncle Warren could even come back in for another yarn. You could have a yarn with Beck. Yeah, that'd be inspiring. Hey?
I tell you
We
what,
could sit you after that. You could sit with Beck and have a
We
little
do
yarn.
finish at 11.
I think you may got to flick it over to Rebecca. And she'll go well. Just got to flick it over to her, and I'm sure she'll fill in half an hour if you want.
I think she's done it once or twice before. You've done well, girl.
Because I said to Michael, I said to Mick about it, he goes, about it.
Yeah, because I was away last weekend when Sonia
Yeah.
emailed me to say you're on.
Yeah. He goes, no, don't nothing about it,
But I
bro.
said, if you can be a coach at 10, because I'm going to be on there till 11.
Oh. I said, they said you had a certain amount of time, right?
I didn't think you'd stick to it though.
I said, I'd rather talk out in the bush than in here.
That's like that. That's
Yeah.
said,
That's why I never
rave
done
on
this
it.
before.
No, they're right.
I can rave and rave on, but when it has to do questions and do a public speech, that's different.
But see, you can grab the microphone in the middle of the field, and away you go.
Yeah.
You feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's the same as me when I'm out in the bush. I'm comfortable, I'm really comfortable.
This is me on Wednesday.
Good, it's not an
Yeah,
hour.
that's me.
Because we're going ahead of
I
schedule.
thought he was speeches
So what
at
time
tomorrow
is it?
morning.
I've
It
never
was
done
10
like
to
live.
10.
I've always been like on the phone on the
One
Can I
way
ask a
to
question?
do it,
Yeah.
so
Once
we'll catch
Paige
up.
asked you a couple of questions,
Yeah.
would you
No,
be happy
no.
if Uncle Warren sat down or came in and Paige said, you happen to know Uncle Warren, how do you know each other? Would you do that? Because that would be really special, it's a bit spontaneous. What about you, Beck?
Yeah.
Well, no, the next one too, come.
Yeah, but
No
let's
one
just,
else
one
coming.
first thing,
Daisy.
no, she's,
Oh, right.
she's
Yeah, or
recorded.
recorded.
She's
You
my-
tuning in, Joyce.
She's my cousin.
Would you be happy, why don't you've asked those two questions, is just to say, and I hear that you know Uncle Warren.
We had Uncle Warren in the
And
studio
then you can
earlier.
stick your head there and go, yeah, I know her. How do you know each other? Can you do that?
Oh, yeah, we heard this through Mick.
Yeah.
Through Mick.
Or something else you want to talk about?
What else could you do? What else would be something
Because
that
we've got some time.
I'd be happy to say like Uncle Tags, how he's a well-respected community, like an elder in our community, and he's someone that we look
It's
for.
whatever you're comfortable
And then
with.
we'll link it back to Naidoc and we'll talk about always.
Must,
So you have a conversation, and that means that once you've finished your two questions, you'll come out.
What I wanted to talk again.
Uncle Warren will sit his butt down.
But you can sit here and I'll sit next to Paige.
I just got.
Alright, get ready.
Say what you're comfortable with. We'll do some photos afterwards.
Still, is it me? I just got nominated for the 2020 Australian Dreamtime Person of the Year.
Really?
Could you bring that up?
No.
Yes.
No, I don't know even. I don't even know the bloke who nominated me.
Doesn't matter. Shouldn't that?
What about you? Yeah, it is, but
Just have a conversation. It'll be good.
That would be good. We won't bring it up Beck, right? That's all I have.
Yeah, I might accidentally say it on
Yeah, thanks,
radio
Beck.
live.
I heard your word. Thank you, Beck.
Yeah.
I like how you show people.
I've got to read them up because I've got to find out what's going on. I've got no idea. All this is I've got an email.
That's massive.
The channel, you're talking to the channel.
Yeah, they've got to talk in the morning.
Our dance group's got
I don't even get up till like midday. I've got to be there like
Yeah,
7.
play next season.
I bought my ticket this morning.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah. But
I should have gone and spent a lot of money from.
I would play
From that beautiful.
and I was
All right.
Chloe, give us a smile. This is Uncle Warren's thing.
This is
Can I
funny.
take one because that was pretty? Uncle Warren doesn't get to have a
Oh, just got a fancy phone.
Yeah, I have. Over there.
We'll take some other photos afterwards. This is the first time ever the kids
Okay, it's almost done now.
You sure?
I'm sure.
That's 3 times you've said sure.
She's not sure.
See, now he's in good value with the microphones off,
Yeah,
isn't he?
right, yeah. Come on, my phone, otherwise she's all over. I'm going to stop here.
Nearly
That's going to
finished.
stay.
Here we go.
Now we're going to go back to Paige and Rebecca now.
Just 2 more questions. What was it like captaining the All Stars?
As I mentioned before, captaining the All Stars has been the best honour in my career over 20 years, and I had an opportunity to co-captain in 2013 with another lady from Queensland, and that sort of gave me the taste of what leadership is like and what you need to do in a role, and the difference between just being a player, I guess, and then going to that captaincy role, and sort of what sort of additional things you might come along with that captaincy. I also captained the team in 2019 in Melbourne. That was the
Really
first
the right
game
thing.
ever against the Indigenous Māori team. But yeah, 2017 once again was the captaincy that I'll never forget at Newcastle here on home soil, to be able to lead out my women, lead the dance, create a dance that sort of was special to our team and represent all of the communities and mobs where we're from, was extremely special. And you know, there's no better feeling than being a leader within your team and having young people and the next generation look up to you and sort of say, that's where I want to be and that's what I want to do. And my main message to those girls as a captain was to make sure that, you know, they feel comfortable and confident in what they're saying, and to be open with their communication. And if they don't feel right about something, have the confidence to step up and stand up and say what they want to say.
What was your experience and how was it touring Samoa?
Yeah, so my first ever year I played, I had Bub, and 2 weeks after I had my baby girl, I got a flyer to say come and try out for the Indigenous All Stars. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to have a go at this. So she was only 6 weeks old when I trialled, and I wanted to, you know, just go out and play some good footy, and I was able to be selected in the first ever Indigenous Women's All Stars team in 2011. That year went on to play for New South Wales in the State of Origin, and then was fortunate enough to get picked up for the Australian Deliveries to go over and tour Samoa. So I've been, you know, with my footy, it's not only just about the football, but I've had the opportunities to go to England, Canada, Fiji, Samoa, New Zealand, all around the world, Papua New Guinea, to play footy. And I would never have had that opportunity if footy didn't give me that. So for me, that first ever tour was the most amazing experience culturally as well that I've ever had, to be able to go to Samoa, play footy over there, and see the passion not only in Australia but all around the world for rugby league. And just before I go, I just wanted to present Paige. I've got a shirt from the Indigenous All Stars women's team, so just wanted to present that to Paige for inviting me here today, and just make sure that she's got something to wear when we play in February next year. So there's your shirt, sis, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So I heard you know Uncle Warren.
Yep, I know Uncle Warren. So Uncle Warren was on earlier, and I guess for me in a community, in the Aboriginal community, Uncle Waz is someone that we look up to as an elder. Where when it comes to Naidoc, this theme is always was, always will be. And to me, that means that, you know, our culture has been the longest surviving culture in the world, and the only way that we've been able to show that resilience is from our old people who pass on our messages and pass on our stories. So for me, living in this generation, Uncle Warren is someone that I look up to as a storyteller and a knowledge holder, who has been given the right permissions and the right knowledge to be able to pass on the story. And that's really important to our people. So we don't lose contact to our land, and we don't lose that generational contact. So I just wanted to bring Uncle Waz in and have a quick chat. But yeah, so Uncle Waz, can you tell us a little bit about community, and I guess about our lands and our cultures, and how that works in community?
Well, it's good to see you again, Beck. The community plays a big role in our culture and ourselves. Our culture is a part of us. Our land is a part of us, and it gets handed down through generations after generations after generation. So that's what keeps me going back out into the country to keep our culture alive. And I've got the stage now, starting to pass it on to my grandsons, starting to teach them, to show them. So when the time comes, as we don't live forever, I'll have someone to the two grandsons, have them to pass the knowledge on to them, to hopefully to keep it going.
That's really good. So I guess that's why you're so well respected in the community, is because that you're, I guess, so I know some of our elders don't feel comfortable and willing enough to pass that information because of the fear of loss, you know, fear of loss and fear of misuse in the community. So as a younger generational person, I just like to thank you for giving us that ability to stay connected to our land. And I know that I'm not, I'm a Warramai woman, so I'm not connected to your country, but as a people together, it makes it so important that we are passing on that information to a younger generation. And I guess, where do you see, you know, always was, always will be, 65,000 years worth of, you know, strong culture, strong resilience. And for me, I always, when I go out on the footy field, I always think about our ancestors and think about there's no way we would be where we stand today, even as women, even as footy players, if it wasn't for our ancestors fighting for us.
Yeah, true. Yeah, keep talking because you got me, mate.
Also, Uncle Waz, some breaking news here in Cessnock that you've been nominated for a 2020 Dreamtime Award for our Elder of the Year. Is that correct?
That is correct. I got an email only last week that I've been nominated for the 2020 Australian Dreamtime Person of the Year Award. I've got no idea who the person was that nominated me.
Probably the whole community.
Dear. But I do a lot in the community to get our culture across the board, to not just to some, but like I've taken kids from preschools right through to university, to people from all over the world, out to the most significant site that everyone wants to see is the Biami Cave. And I've taken them out there. And it's good to sit there and we'll sort of look at the kids and seeing that they're taking it in while we're talking to them. You know, that's, and then at the end of the day, I might throw a couple of quick questions at them, and it really gets to me that they can answer it. So I'm doing my job by explaining it to them, and they're taking it in when I'm talking.
What an absolute honour. 2020 Dreamtime Awards. Well, we'll all get around you then. So, the schools that you work in this area, so how do you sort of get connected to our schools in this area to work with them?
It's mostly through the AECG, junior and senior. I had a lot to do with the AECG seniors. And then like schools, they contact me if they want to do an excursion, or if they want me to come down to their schools to have a talk to them and that. Just normal, it's more or less than communication with the mouth, hardly than with the phone, few emails, but it's mostly how do you find out, you know, ask Uncle Warren.
That's amazing. So I guess just for me, thank you. Thank you from a younger person's perspective. Thank you for sharing your culture and your knowledge. So
Yeah, well Beck, it was very nice to catch up with you.
Awesome.
And we will definitely catch up later.
Will do.
Hey, it's Ruth again. I'd just like to introduce Sonia Sharp, who was the one who brought this program to life for us. So she's going to come on and talk now.
Hi, good morning to everyone. Yes, I think it's great that the 2CHR FM and Cessnock City Council, along with SciCos, thank them for having us here today, because it's a great initiative. It started out the conversation I had with Joe Miller at Cessnock City Council, and from there Joe involved 2CHR FM, and then SciCos jumped on board as well, and we appreciate all their help behind the scenes, because it takes a lot of hard work. So thank you to all those people involved, because otherwise it would never have happened. And thank you to Uncle Warren this morning for coming in and having a yarn with us all, and also to Beck for travelling up here to have this conversation and also have a conversation with Uncle. So thank you very much for coming to the studio and talking with us today.
Thank you for all of you. Now we're going to go to a song break called Treaty.
Well done, everybody. Put me on the spot.
Thank you,
darling.
Thank you.
No worries. That's amazing.
Put me on the spot, and then I forgot who I had to thank.
Oh,
You're really good.
Yeah. She just did yeah. They need to go a little closer to the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should interview Tracy, shouldn't we? They go, at the end, they come push it to like
What could we ask them?
well, you got like we'll bring some.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. I want the yellow one.
No, that's... You're not up
Where's
now.
who's next? Is it Paige?
No,
This
it's
one's ugly, so. No, Paige, yeah, Paige.
where's the pen go? Okay, here it is. Questions.
Girls, I think they're gonna take the. Oh, they want the group photos.
Okay.
I'll put it on the notes.
Oh, you too, Paige. And Paige, come here for a second.
I look.
So at the end, we're going to do a little interview on Tracy with questions.
Oh, we're putting her on the spot. Is that?
Yeah, okay.
We're all gonna ask that. Have a look here.
Yeah.
I got better writing.
That
I
one
think that one's
really ugly.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna.
Well, these are pretty colours, so that one's fine.
I don't know questions.
Oh, Tracy, why were you so excited for us to get school?
Yeah. What is your importance at the school?
What is your role at school?
and then like
We
one
got
of
high.
programs. Are we gonna play another song after it?
I think you could probably get another song in if you want to.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do that one because it's underneath it.
Yeah.
It's so smart.
Why is this running out? Why is this? Oh, right. The school.
Ruth, imagine if I said we're still on live.
We're not because that's
Red.
wrong.
That's an intensive word.
I was had a heck attack.
Well, we could say,
Why were you so excited to get our school of?
I don't know if you remember this week, you asked her about what you want to treatments to her.
Yeah.
And what other programs you're doing.
should we go let her know that we're gonna
I
put
told
her
her.
on the spot?
You told her?
I told her because we got Sonia Sharp on the
Yeah,
spot,
yeah.
so we
She
can
would
try to
probably
get
do
on the spot.
I'll just ask her.
Oh, look, she's moved.
Yeah.
And you've got an interview to put in, haven't you?
I'm
Yeah,
really
it's
into
on there.
we're just trying questions to ask Tracy because we can fill up some time.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
No. Oh, I thought Tracy was pre-recorded.
Fun.
What
No,
do you have
that's
most
fine.
about your
Yeah,
job?
she'll be in.
Okay.
Oh wait, we've got to do the Naidoc
Hold on.
first.
You're right, yeah, mine.
We did another song. So
Yeah, after this song, okay, I'll sing her. You're going to get into
What person does Naidoc mean to you? What am I writing?
where am I sitting? Here. Do I say that right?
So the next one is your interview coming on, is that right? Because Beck was wondering if she could listen, it'd be lovely for her to hear Cassidy talk. It only goes for, I think,
8 minutes.
7 or 8 minutes.
On here it says.
Oh, you can't see.
Eight
That's
minutes.
Tracy.
There's 9.5 minutes on that.
That's why I didn't want
Is
to.
that correct?
So you can respond to that conversation with Joe.
That's back on the same, right? What personally Naidoc work with you?
Oh wait. Does.
Excuse me, Warren, are you able to take a phone call out there from Mr. Robertson? He's rang you for when you're on the loo.
Who's Mr. Robertson?
He's asked to speak to you.
Don't know him.
No, it's a good line.
So you'll be right, you've got that interview lined
Yeah,
up to
yeah,
do, and you're
yeah.
doing another live one here.
Yeah.
Okay? You'll be with
After
it?
when we go live, do you want to keep running on the questions?
Yeah, I'll move over to
Wait,
you.
who's going to do what?
We all are.
We
We're
all
all
are?
interviewing.
So you guys know what to do, you're all over it?
Yeah.
Can I just get where would you like to be with them, Neve? Would you like to be next to Ruth, next to Chloe first? Because I'll send these two, because I was thinking at the end, but it's nice to have them throughout get the keyboard on it. Do you want to come next to these two as well? Or?
My feet don't touch the ground. Is that me neither? It's okay.
All right, girls. All right, can we move them just away from your faces? Beautiful. Smile.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So my whole family are listening to this, and my neighbours.
on my Instagram stories. I'm not getting
Oh.
Like, we need young ones.
Both of my neighbours are listening. My cousin's girlfriend's family is listening.
Okay, so once I'm done, you know the ones. So you
Yeah.
and then
That wasn't on the whole time, was it? Wait, tell us a bit about yourself. That's the first, actually, no, we're going to tell them about her ourselves. Yeah.
yeah, you can talk about what she
We don't have to ask her.
Yeah, you can just say
She
what
wants
she's like an appreciation kind of thing, and then just like really answer it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, look.
Oh, she's gonna go on for ages. Oh my god, I think that she's doing okay.
Oh shit, the song's about to end. The song's about to end. Oh my god. Okay. Is that the song about to end?
Johnny Fun.
No, this is Mitch Chambo's
Can you put yours in? I
rendition.
hear you at all.
Sounds like a different language. Oh my god, do you wanna know what's funny? That thing. I'll say it later.
Next, Tyler Shoesmith from Year 7 will be sharing about her love in Aboriginal dance. Tyler is a proud Wannerooa woman and is excited to share about her culture with us today. Hi Tyler, what inspired you to be involved in Aboriginal dance and who are you interviewing for us today?
Hi Chloe, yeah, I'm excited about being involved in one of this year's Naidoc programs. I've been involved in Aboriginal dance since Year 3 at St Pat's Lochaber, but I'd have to say the most motivating and inspiring experience I've had is when I was able to watch the Aboriginal dance group at Starstruck perform. This experience changed how I see dance for the rest of my life. It was amazing to be able to see and perform with 3,500 other dancers that were all pumped and excited. I love sharing my passion with all of them.
Now we're going to hear her interview.
I want to go out and listen to this.
I don't want to hear my interview. Oh, she's a blessed soul. I just love her.
Hi Tyler.
I just love her.
How do you do?
Yes, he is my cousin. No way. That's such a small world.
I forgot to say who I was interviewing. Oh wait, I said it in the thing. Oh, okay. It's okay.
Are you here at the very now? What does Naidoc week personally mean to you? What else other questions should we say? So, what is your role? What's your role at the school? Why were you so interested in getting us involved in this program? What does Naidoc? Oh wait. No.
So my name is I'm 25 years old and I've lived in the Hunter Valley my whole life. So I've always lived on country, which is Wannerooa Nation. I guess I started.
How did you feel when you found out that we had the opportunity to do this program?
When I changed schools in Year 9 and I went to HSPA, which is High School for Performing Arts, and they had a Millabide Aboriginal dance group there. And that was led by a lady called Tony Gordon. So I think because my friends that I first made when I changed schools were in that group, and so I was really curious about that, what that was. So I joined and loved it, learned lots of different what people call trad dance, as well as contemporary style Aboriginal dance. And it really just all grew from that seed.
How many baby on?
I'd say my inspirations came from me learning more about where I came from and who I was, and how my family also connected to that side of our ancestors. I think
Tracy did say there was one part you
went to
Sorry.
NAIDOC, which is the National Aboriginal Islander Skills Development Association, and I ended up studying 4 years receiving a diploma at the end. And I really just went, wow, I can make a career out of this, and because I fell in love with it. Dance is such a huge passion of mine now, and it all started from a Billabong. And you know, I've done incredible things. Like I'm really proud of the people who helped me through this journey. I ended up being able to go overseas. You know, I now work in Australia's leading Aboriginal dance and leading Aboriginal and Torres Strait dance company in Australia, and it just the people I work with continue to inspire me, and also people that have helped me get there have inspired me.
Well, you know they can't hear us, so I'm going to. You're next.
If you want to hear it, Kurt,
It's alright.
Is it this one?
that one, yeah.
Very happy.
Yeah.
And I think
It
even
doesn't have
better
anything to do with
is
the broadcast, it's only what's coming
and
back.
you get
Okay,
to
Tyler,
come off stage and see the audience, see your family, and you get to see what the impact, you know, that hour or that 2 hour show
So her
has really
interviews, but it doesn't say like.
has really done on someone, like how it's
Thank
made
them
them
or anything?
feel,
It doesn't say
what they
anything
made
like
you
that.
learn, because a lot of people
Yeah.
go through the theatres, say I'm talking just in
Or
reference
does
to
it come to you?
working in a
It
dance
goes to me,
company,
so should I just
you know, so
say?
we put on lots of state performances on stage, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's a
So
really,
did you
it
want to go
feels
back
really
there
good
and have a
knowing that
discussion
I'm
about
representing
about
my
that?
coach in
Yeah,
really
You could
respectfully
say
and
that was like a
strongly, and
pre-recorded one, but
changing probably
she
hopefully
inspired
stereotypes
you
of
so much.
what some people may think of, you know,
What she was saying, something like that.
Aboriginal peoples, Torres Strait Islander peoples. Yeah.
She's gone back
Oh,
to
you
one
can
anyway.
talk about
How
Tracy
she-
Crime, so we can do
Yeah.
that there.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tyler and Cassidy.
So
Tyler, no, come here.
what keeps me connected and that feeling of connecting to culture
That's
really
actually not my
draws
heart.
from when I
Because
first
you're
started
interviewing
learning.
me now.
So this,
So that
this
is
is
your
one
answer.
I'm talking about
How? Because you
cultural
said
issues
so are you.
and cultural women.
It's so cool.
Dances that
It's so
have
cool
taught
that
me, you know,
that
barely
you
been
kept
tried or I'm
enrolled
allowed to
since
learn
primary
with
school
their
and now
song.
you're
And
junior ACG at Mount
throughout my
Castle.
years
So
that
we
I've grown
decided
and
Oh,
I've grown
I
stronger
put a
with
line
it.
on one day. Well,
The passion and
I put a
that
line at the
feeling of
bottom.
groundedness that I've learnt, and that certain movements have certain
bring up all.
meanings and stories and
You don't
you
go
know
with that.
some lines that are carried through, and you know the land that we dance on is quite sacred. You know there was special areas, special special
No, because you'll
reasons
be
that
turned on.
you would do things. Everything had a reason. Everything was full of knowledge, and so I think I'm respecting and I'm connecting to my culture through how you know women have taught me that I really look up to. And they're strong. And yeah, it's just
It's not
I
Tracy.
feel like it's just that passing of
You gotta
knowledge
see
that
if me
when
going.
I dance and I perform,
Oh,
I
she'll
feel
have a
connected to
video
culture because
to
I'm
you in the
respecting
throat.
what I've learned
Yeah.
I'm already
and
there,
I
and you're
feel
going.
I'm going to
God, you're just so
pass that on as well to maybe who I might teach later on.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Oh, this is a play at the
Favorite style of Aboriginal dance?
Oh.
Who's that?
My favourite style of Aboriginal dance, I'd have to say I like both traditional and contemporary. So I feel like because I'm at Naidoc Dance College, I learned Torres Strait Islander and Aboriginal styles of dance.
Oh,
Both
that's actually a cute photo.
and contemporary.
That's not a bad photo.
Not tell you why yes, I love
Should
them
I
both
say
so much.
she's now will
I think they're both very unique because Torres Strait Islander
Not
can be linear, but it's also the way that
What was that? Not angry.
you know,
That's
you
the one that I was
perform
going to
those
say.
and you get to
Not angry
experience
in
that
the film. Okay.
through cultural residencies that needs to get to change that.
Wait, so you're gonna put a somewhere in between these?
It was quite fun and uplifting.
So do I say sacred
Aboriginal dance
for...
for me.
Okay,
both
don't worry about this part.
It's almost finished.
Don't worry about this.
Yeah, that
I
feeling of,
haven't been writing.
energy that's
Not yet, we're doing
ground that comes through your body, it makes you feel strong, and obviously I've actually connected with it more so being it makes me feel more grounded and stronger, and
Wait, isn't it
the
Halo?
style can be
I've
very
already got it. Okay, yeah, we are.
You're in charge.
say processing the narrative
You can push the button.
and very soft. The women can be very soft, but also we're very strong. Women are very powerful. So yeah, I think I love them both just as much. And when you put them together, it's amazing. I love it as well. Yeah.
What?
Well, thanks, Tyler. So do you dance at all?
Did dance, but from the start of this year, I kind of took a break. But I do love traditional Aboriginal dance. I think it's my favourite.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, well, we might have to meet up sometime and have a yarn.
Yeah.
Get to know you face to face.
Well, I've certainly heard about some amazing.
That's the only source you use.
Thank you for sharing about your life with dance and what your favourite style of dances are. Leave me alone. Is there anything else you would like to tell our teen listeners that might inspire them during Naidoc Week?
Just don't be ashamed. Naidoc Week's a great time to celebrate and to celebrate our individual achievements as well as community. You know, have a great week. Be proud and be strong and take care of each other. Yeah. And take care of yourself, Tyler.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for joining us today. Hope we can keep in touch.
Sounds great. Yes, I think we should. Definitely. Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you.
Oh my god,
Now I'm going to play a song called Hey Love by Emily.
Do you have a behind the thing?
I had no idea how to say that woman's name, so I was like, nope.
I just realised you can press this button, right? And you hear everything. Oh, no good. I didn't know that. Do you have a button? I don't have a button. Oh, okay. But you have to hold on to it. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I know that before.
It's on Triple J. And now it's on Chissy Hitcher. Can we? What is that? Can you hear that? Wow, that's crazy. Everyone's so clear.
Can you hear it through yours?
One staticky when I don't press the button. What do you mean? So it me. I don't know buttons. Come here.
What?
She's going around to see what I can get. Yeah.
Here, you want
So she want to get, oh yeah.
and then just and hold the button while you're doing it. No, you'll still be able to
Just
hear it.
unplug them.
No, you can still hear it.
Do you think she can stretch that far?
I got the full way to do controls. I can hear this. Wait.
I reckon they won't
No, I
plug
think it's just that thing because I can hear this.
I reckon they won't plug in properly.
Here, listen to it now. Maybe it's just your thing. Can you hear it?
Can you hear?
Oh, my dad messaged me.
Is she listening?
Yeah.
What'd she say? I hope my mom's not listening.
Now we're going to play a song called Not Angry Anymore by Thelma Plum.
And then not have that.
And then would you like
If I do it,
So you're interviewing Chloe,
Yes.
and then we'll play the interview, and then we're going to get Tracy.
How's it going?
Great, we're talking about you.
No, we
Let's throw me on the spot. What have I got to do?
We got a question for you. So first question is, what is your role at the school? We're going to talk a bit about you before we even bring you in. Yeah. Why were you so interested in getting us involved in this program? What does Naidoc Week personally mean to you? How did you feel when you found out our school had the opportunity to do this program?
Little buckets. So I'm going to be saying, well, they're throwing me on the spot because I'm not prepared. And I'll answer.
It's Paige.
Oh, I want a photo.
This is how great of a singer I am. I don't even know the words.
Oh, right.
Wait, just
You
take
can
a photo.
sit there. I'm just going to sit here.
Wait, you're doing interesting.
Is this secret?
I'm itchy.
How long is that video going for? Or has it been stopped?
That's the second one. That was 45 minutes.
I probably reached up to high Chloe.
Shut up.
Thank you.
Oh!
Oh, nice. Smiling. Yep, I'm ready for how you can
Yeah, you go.
Oh, nice. You ready? Like, Chloe, you weren't looking right.
Press the close.
Fix that up and I'll get my own. Absolutely. Absolutely. Actually, with the school one, or I don't know. It's shame.
You can see the first me not end.
Just let me know when it comes on.
I can actually go in the comments. You ready? Can I say that? Back down because that was her phone. My phone's on.
My skirt is so short.
You're fucked.
You ready?
Okay, it's almost. Tyler, it's almost finished.
Can I just hold the button, please?
Now we're going to hear from a little from Chloe Ford. Hey Chloe, you've already told our listeners that you're Vice President of our school's ACG, but can you tell us a little about what connects you to your culture and why it's so important to you?
Hi Tyler. To be honest, being on the exec for our school's junior ACG has been such a privilege, and getting involved with everyone we do at school with my peers has been the best way for me to connect to my culture. I started to become involved with my culture in primary school in Year 4 at Milford Public, and I was on the committee of the Aboriginal Education team as secretary, so my experience with culture at school started way back then.
It's cool how you've kept being involved since primary school and are now in the junior ACG at Mount View High School. So, who have you decided to interview today and why?
Well, today I have chosen to interview Steph Earl, who is a support worker at Mount View High School and a proud Awabakal woman. I have known Steph since I started Mount View in Year 7, and I have developed a personal connection with her through Sister Speak, Aboriginal Camp and other cultural activities we held at school. Steph has been writing a cultural book about local sites in Bush Tucker. I was keen to interview her because she has always inspired me with her passion and in culture, and always will. This connects back to the saying, always was, always will be.
Chloe. Thanks for inviting me.
Now we'll start with questions. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to learn about your culture.
Growing up, we had a pretty normal life. Parents worked, we went to school. Weekends and holidays included camping, fishing, hunting. My grandfather worked at the forestry and we spent time in the bush with the forestry men were working. Growing up, I have links missing from family members and connections which meant knowledge was not traditionally available but being passed down through the generations. I didn't want my children to have as many gaps as what I had, so my journey of discovery and learning began. It's something that will always be relevant to me as it connects me to my past as well as opening a path for my future generations to come. My learning will never end. There is such a vast amount of information on a broad range of subjects, including food, medicine, clothing, making weapons and hunting tools. Even processing of some food is labour intensive and complicated.
I loved doing Sister Speak with you on your set. It was awesome doing the Aboriginal art together and hang out with our sisters, learning about culture. Do you have the opportunity to learn about culture at school?
Unfortunately, when I was at school, culture was not really discussed, it was not celebrated. There weren't the programs and opportunities for us, such as cultural camps or even celebrating Naidoc or smoking ceremonies. There was nothing taught within the school system like there is today. Education has come a long way, including culture compared to what was available to my generation. Hopefully education keeps progressing forward and more traditional content can be included.
I remember every time we went on excursions, a goanna would always appear. Can you tell us a little bit of why that happens?
The goanna is my personal territory. Saying on country is where people need to inspire his territory. A safe area of sharing common ground between us. It protects my own country and protects you by looking after the country. We both look after each other's father.
That's what Troy said.
That's interesting. A few years ago, I lived with a family and my personal totem is the kangaroo. It just occurred to me that every time me and my family go camping, I'll always see a whole lot of kangaroos. My family totems are goanna, eagle, and also a kangaroo. Okay, now, can you tell us a little bit about this book you're writing?
The book started by documenting local sites about 2 years ago from my own personal research. Since then, it was blown out, to gain interest from further and incorporate a whole range of local based information, including bush-tucker, food, clothing, weapons, as well as information on the local mobs. As you'll be aware, our area was accessed by 3 mobs, the Waterhood, Darkingham and Warrawara. Our area is significant as it includes some very special and significant heritage listed and protected sites within New South Wales. 2 of our most significant sites include Mount Naidoc and Murray Shoulder. I've been working with local government to make sure all articles and photos are fine for everyone to see. Even though it's important that we share our culture, there are certain sites and places that are sacred and only for Aboriginal people.
What's the Aboriginal site that you feel most connected to?
My greatest connection would be with the Northern Mapping site, which is known as Finchley Engraving site. From this site, there are many sites within the area that share stories and links with engravings. From this site, you're able to see Mount Naidoc, which has strong connections with the Aboriginal dreamtime stories. Further, Finchley connects with
We all have to say that part.
visually, also connects with past generations and stories associated with engravings and magnets. I have a strong cultural learning connection with the
Or jelly.
When we say just always was always will be, just like that.
Yeah, always
well.
Like,
But you mean sing as well because like
no, always
Oh shit, yeah, maybe just go always with me.
Should I say there's going to be one last ad after we say this? And hopefully jump straight from during this year's Naidoc week.
Can you tell us a little bit
Always
about
was, always.
that girls and women would use every day when they lived our country?
An important skill was knowing how to weave and plants were used for weaving. Being able to weave was very important as weaving was used for making light-weighted jewelry, wearing bracelets,
Oh, singing the baby boots. Like we had last time.
We should play fun song. Do you want to play Baby One for our last song?
No. No, we should play something else.
No. We're going to play Baby One. We're going to find it first.
That's what Chloe kept on saying. Yep, we're gonna play one.
I don't think it'll be really now. I don't think it's there.
Give it up.
You can do that.
I don't know how to do it.
And you think I do?
We should. You're the MC.
Small ones will be taken with them between camps, but the large ones will be made.
Is there any fun songs on this one?
Can we search any songs on there?
Not while that's out, unfortunately.
Bush tucker is the massive part of traditional culture in Sydney.
I take it as you can.
Involves in areas still actively
Go into the media players. But different lifestyles. Good stuff there. Bit of bean, midnight oil.
Just search up on your song, phone, hold it down.
Down City Street, Archie Roach. Good tracks there.
I don't even know it, it's so boring. I love old people's ears.
Animals are used for food and clothing, or sections of the animals used. Rules for clothing, meat for food, stones for water carriers, and insignia used for sewing clothing, as well as attaching hastings to the ends.
Actually, I think there's a water thing out there.
Yeah, it's all yours.
Because it's relevant to how our culture, our current world, can learn from previous examples on land management, and now to preserve the land and water ways to keep our land and animals healthy for future generations.
I love that you've included bush tucker in the book. I love eating bush tucker, especially worm seeds. My favourite way to eat them is in a delicious cake. What's your favourite bush tucker and why?
It's a very hard choice to make.
How would you say
There
your
are so
sausage?
many to choose from. My favourite would have to be the raspberry plant. There's a wide range of uses, including animals, herbs like pasta. When the flower turns into fruit, they can be eaten with meat or making the fruit into jam.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dried flowers can be
You're doing
added
this
to
really
water
well,
and
Mike.
a wide range of
You're well,
health benefits. Overall, it would be one of the most versatile plants.
Thank you so much for coming into this, Steph. I really enjoyed getting to know you more, and I hope you have too.
Thanks for inviting me, Chloe.
Thank you. Now I'm going to hear a little bit from Sonia Sharp.
Thanks, Chloe. Again, I'd like to thank Joe from Council, Catherine and staff here at CHRFM, and Warren for helping us today in the studio. Also, Neve and Elkie for all their hard work behind the scenes making this possible. And not to forget Tracy from Mount View High School for all her organising and all her behind the scenes work. Thanks very much. Special thanks again for Uncle Warren and Beck Young for travelling to be with us today. Tune in Wednesday 9:30 to 11 for Curry High School's Youth Naidoc radio program. And don't forget, from little things, big things grow. Enjoy your Naidoc week.
Thank you so much, Steph. Sonia. Well, that's the end of our broadcast today. We'd like to thank 2CHR, Elkie Johnson and Neve Walpole from Cessnock City Council, Sonia Sharp for making our broadcast possible, and Tracy Eddy for being behind the scenes. We hope you have enjoyed it as much as we have, and we hope you have got to learn more about our culture during this Naidoc week. One last thing we want to say is,
Always was, always will be.
Now the last song from us today is called Absolutely Everybody from Mitch Tambo.
Well done.
Good job, ladies.
These were natural by the end too. You could have kept
go all
going
day.
2 hours. Yes. Good job. How do you feel about it?
Good.
Yeah.
So what
Did
you
you
got
make
this
your
time?
interview?
Oh, it's okay. I turned
So good.
it up.
Was it working?